Welcome, guys. Welcome. Crypto Fud. Got a new one on the channel. Let's check it out. Let's jump right into it. All right. So, been hearing about this meme coin for the last like maybe week or two, or probably even more. I was hearing a little bit here and there from other YouTubers that I watch. And, I didn't really pay much attention to it. But obviously, in the last like day or two, we've had a crazy explosion. And looks like so I'm looking at the dates real quick. So it looks like in the last like maybe like 2 days, we've had a nice explosion with El Pepe. Pepe, the new meme coin that's gonna take out all the other meme coins, is what they're saying, right? So you guys can hear my opinion and what I think as far as Pepe and what we might be looking forward to if you're possibly looking to jump into this project, or maybe if you've already jumped in and you were one of the lucky ones that, bought into before the hype. Remember, I tell you a lot of these meme coins, even if long term they do form some utility, they all start off the same. It's all just driven with hype. So let's look at this. So Pepe shot up. So the date, let's see, this is starting. We're gonna start from the 28th, pretty much, which was pretty much about 2 days ago. This thing shot up basically 450%. That's nuts. That's crazy. If someone was to throw a nice chunk of money down here and really rode this thing all the way up, shout out to you guys because you guys definitely made out like a bandit. So it looks like, let's see here. So how many zeros in front of here? One, two, three, four, five. So keep in mind whenever I'm throwing out a number, always put those five zeros in front of it. Right now, we're currently sitting at a 10, 10, 3. Obviously, five zeros in front of that 10, 3. We did have a top at around 13.8. So pretty much you had all this hype driven run right here, right? Jumped up all the way. I mean, it dropped zeros and jumped up that 450%, topped out at around that 13.8. And since then, which was pretty much this morning, that's when it really topped out. It has cooled off a little bit. Now, I do want to point out a couple things. First is it looks like it's wanting to form this W pattern right here, right? If you see this thing form a W pattern and it jumps back up to this fib retracement, which is around the 236, which would be at 11.1, I wouldn't doubt that this thing maybe goes for another run. Usually, whenever it has a nice W pattern, even if it's a small W pattern, a lot of times it'll play out to where it goes to the upside, and vice versa. If it has a double top, like a M, it'll usually will play out to where it's going on the downside. So if this thing can form this nice W pattern, which it's trying so hard, but you have to remember, this is what I wanted to get to, especially for all my viewers, all my people in the crypto FUD community. I'm always looking out for you guys, and I want to make sure, be very careful. This thing has already ran up like crazy. I don't want to hinder your investment if you are looking to jump in, and possibly this thing could go for a second run and maybe do another couple 100%. You never know. But the odds of it going down versus the odds of it going up are probably going to be higher for it to go down. Only because of the fact that this thing has been running for the last 2 days. And then the last day, we've seen it go up hundreds of percent. So, with that being said, that hype ran it up, and a lot of the smart people are going to be selling. So that sell pressure is going to be very, 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 very high, very heavy. You're gonna have a lot of people that are trying to FOMO in right now because everybody on the streets right now are Pepe. You heard about Pepe, 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 and it's just like, you guys know it all if you've been in this space for a while. Just how Shiba was, how Doge was, how everything, how Volt's gonna be. Volt, my Volt community out there. How all these meme coins, how they work is, it's they all get their time to shine, and everybody starts talking about that certain everybody's mom and aunts are, you hear about Shiba? I remember being at the gym one day and this elderly guy was like, my wife's telling me to buy Shiba, and this was after everything was already ran up. I was like, I had to tell him, I was like, I wouldn't do that right now. I'm not knocking on Shiba whatsoever, but I was like, you do not want to buy the top. And sure enough, that's what it was. So with all that saying, just be very careful out there. So like I said, we're sitting at around the 10-2 right now. This thing's moving up and down, up and down. If we can form a nice W pattern, like I said, and move up to this 236, which would be around the 11-2 mark, that would be an official W pattern, and I wouldn't doubt that. I don't know if it's gonna maybe reach this high again. It could surpass it, but if it does form that W pattern, I guarantee, almost can guarantee, right? 'Cause I can't guarantee everything. Remember, this isn't financial advice, but I can almost be certain that if it forms this W pattern and makes it up to this 236 fib at around 11.2, we're probably gonna see a nice another run, probably up to around 12.7 and maybe getting back up to this 13.8 level. That's if it can form that W pattern. If you can see as we're talking, the W keeps trying to form, but it keeps basically dropping back down because it's seller buyers, seller buyers. Right now, the sell pressure is probably so high, and you have a lot of people also trying to FOMO in. But who's gonna win? And I'm gonna tell you right now who I think is gonna win are gonna be these people that bought all down here, that bought in, massive amounts, for small amount of money, but they bought a big bag, and then this thing is worth a lot to them now. They're probably selling off, taking their profits, which, we don't blame them. So, be careful, guys. If this thing cannot form a W pattern, we're probably gonna see some cooling off. I think what we're gonna do is with depending on how strong the hype stays with this, Pepe, we're probably if we don't form this W pattern and make ourselves, another run up, we're probably gonna, basically go back down or go down to this 382, which would be the 9.4, which I think we already hit today. We already pretty much bounced back at this 9.4 and we bounced back up. We'll probably go back down to this 9.4, and most likely, if we can't hold that 9.4, we're probably gonna go somewhere around this 618 right here in this area where we found, when it was on its way up, you saw that it bounced at the 618 right here at around 6.5. That's where it's gonna find some solid support, but you're talking about a big run down from where we're at right now. If it was to go down to that the 618, you're talking about a 35% drop from here. So that's why I say be very cautious. Make sure you guys are, doing your research and really, understanding what you're buying. This is hype driven right now. It's like gambling, unless you're really looking at this as a long-term play, you know you know, shout out to those people that are looking at that for the long-term play, but like I said, be very careful because you could be buying a top right now. Thing could jump up, but like I said, chances are higher that it's probably gonna most likely cool down and come back down, at least down to this first, we're gonna see the 9.4, and we need to see if we're gonna maybe, bounce at that again. Maybe it needs to bounce and we could see another run up. If it can't hold that, I'm seeing it probably going back down to this 618 mark right here, somewhere around the 6.6, 6.5 mark is where I'm gonna see it probably finding some support. And then, like every other meme coin, it'll lose its momentum, its hype. People will stop talking about it, and that's where it'll kinda, it'll just basically do its thing as far as finding a bottom, and then from there on, we'll see where it goes. But other than that, guys, make sure I went a little bit too long on this video, but, it is what it is. I want you guys to be careful out there. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. I'll make sure to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on, alright? Thank you.